Hey guys, got here with a quick look at patch notes for 5.1.1. These are mostly bug fixes, but they do have a pretty notable change to Trickster, and this will probably be the last change to Trickster we see for a while. I still think they went the wrong direction with the Trickster changes. I think most people think that he needed kind of something different, not just making his things that he was already decent at even more annoying, but still he's not a very good killer. It's just like a very weird decision and design direction they went for the changes with him. But the changes they make, they initially look like a buff, but I would argue his floor is now higher, but his potential is actually significantly lower, and I'll go over why. So they increased the laceration decay back up to 15 seconds. So basically, it's kind of where it used to be. And then they also made the throw speed 30% from 25%. It came out as 33%, so it's 3% slower than his original throw speed, but 5% faster than it was in the previous patch. So, I mean, overall, these are good things that'll make him feel better to play. There are not really any huge issues. Trickster's performance is still lower than we want him after the 5.1 release, so we decided to add a bit of power in a few places. Chase dynamics are more interesting now that it has a short delay before laceration decays, but it was too easy to lose progress. I just think this whole... the chase dynamic is not interesting with Trickster at all. It's really, really boring on both sides. I don't... Whatever. It's just the point anymore. I really don't think the chase dynamics of Trickster are good at all. They needed to go in some type of different direction, but at least this will make it less wasteful to throw knives at people, like, progressively in a loop. It's basically death by 1,000 cuts. Trickster can essentially down you at every loop in the game. It just, depending on the loop, if it's a short, low loop, he'll down you in 1 second. If it's, like a long wall jungle gym, he'll hit you he'll hit you for 2, you round the corner, he'll hit you for 2, you round the corner, and then he'll hit you for 2, and then he'll damage you. So it just takes a lot longer, but it is sort of like a low-key original Legion where you are eventually going to get hit. It's just like, that's just, I don't know. Trickster is just like the I poke you a lot killer. And I don't know, he's just, I just find him, I don't even want to say missed potential for Trickster, because I don't even know what the original plan was. There's no tricking involved. There's no like the ricochet shots could have been like, there's so much more they could have done with him. He's just such a disappointing killer. But so originally this makes him seem like he's getting just a straight buff. But if you actually look down a bit lower to this part right here, this is something that makes his actual cap a lot lower. This add-on combination allowed you to down survivors in 4 knives, which actually, in my opinion, made him a better camper than Bubba because he could down multiple people at the same amount of time and also at range, and this add-on combination was ridiculous. Now, it's interesting that they call this a bug fix, because it's not a bug, because what the first add-on does is make knives, pierce somebody, and what the second add-on does is make an AoE explosion when you hit something, when you hit the ground or a wall or something like that. So it's just an explosion that's happening, and it's also a projectile that's happening. It's like pierce and then AoE. God, we're talking like Path of Exile shit here now, but it doesn't seem like a bug. That seems like the intentional combination of those two things, but they're calling it a bug. Bottom line, you can't do this anymore. So no matter what, it'll always take 6 hits to down now, which is still very fast, but it wasn't the ridiculous 4 hits that made him like a camping god. So I'm actually okay with this change. I think this add-on combination was stupid. It was really, really dumb. I love Coconut. I think he's one of the best huntresses I've ever seen, but I don't think this combo made him better than Nurse. I do think he's not even close to the worst killer, though. He's actually still a pretty good killer. I would say with these changes, he's pretty average now. There are probably 6 or 7 killers that I think are worse than him, but probably the majority are better. So he's like average, I would just say. But these add-ons needed to be changed because they basically just incentivized him to face camp people because you could not ever save against that with this combo. And it made you able to down people in like a second if they were injured. Like it was a ridiculous, very, very silly add-on combo. And I'm glad that they did change that. So they buffed his base level and then they nerfed his maximum potential, which is, I guess, fine. I don't know. It's so hard for me to like give a honest opinion on this because I feel like we're debating the changes of a thing that was changed in like, it's like if someone said, hey, can you change this blue to red? And they changed it to purple. and now we're arguing about the shade of purple it is. It's like, well, we didn't want it to be that color to begin with. Like, I don't. It's so hard to like give like opinions on that because I'm like, I didn't want this to begin with, but it's fine, I guess. This will probably be the last change we see to Trickster in a while. He's a lot stronger without add-ons now, but his maximum potential with that ridiculous add-on combo has been pretty much deleted. A couple of other bug fixes, like the whole desyncing issues on a couple of maps. Like on Larry's, that one room. There's a couple of rooms, I'm sure you guys seen it on Twitter now, where players will become completely desynced from each other. You'll see a killer swing 17 feet away from you and you go down a mile away. That's because there was a weird desync thing that was happening. I'm not really sure why that happened. Then a couple of other fixes like Trapper's Traps being affected by dies again. That's really good because that was not working properly at all. Other than that, there's nothing too much else to talk about. They made Legacy a lot better to look at. And there was one other thing that I wanted to talk about, and for the life of me, I can't think about what it is. It was a pretty important fix, and now, of course, I cannot think about it. Well, that's a darn shame. Either way, I mean, this patch was all right. We'll see what else it breaks, but changes to Trickster, I think, are fine. And it's probably the best version of him that we're going to get. Oh, here we go. This is, it was right above the line I was looking at. This actually makes him weaker at camping as well. So I had Trickster labeled as the best camper in the game due to these things. And now these things are no longer an issue. So you used to be able to actually put knives on survivors as they were being unhooked. So in the unhook animation, if you had AoE going, you would basically down both people at almost the same time. It was basically, they just changed all the things that made him an extremely strong camper, which, I mean, good, I guess, because that's just, I don't know. But yeah, I guess that's it. I feel like there was one other change I wanted to talk about, but overall, we'll see how it goes. I think Trickster's going to be like this for a while now. And that's pretty much the rest. That can't be right.